What's up, G5 leadership? Y'all ready for today? We're excited. I can't believe it. Literally feels like we just had leadership. The other day we were like, we're having leadership. I'm like, oh my God, it's been a month. That's crazy. Isn't it amazing how time flies when you're having fun? We love having fun here at G5, and we're excited. It is another leadership month. Can we give a quick round of applause to our tech, Seth? Thank you for helping out. We appreciate it. Heath, jumping on the camera. Heath, you better make me look good, bro. If not, we're blaming your mom. Just saying. But I'm excited. I'm just going to jump in today because we're running a few minutes late. But I'm just going to jump right in. So a few months ago, I talked about being better before bigger. And I touched on transparency leadership a little bit, being transparent with your team when I gave that talk. And I encourage y'all, if you haven't heard that talk, go back and listen to it. I encourage y'all, it is amazing. And I'm not just trying to make myself sound good, but let's just say I stole from the best, and the best is Tim Goad. Just saying. So I kind of know that he knows what he's talking about. Just saying. But I wanted to talk about just being a transparent leader today. Can we do that? And I was looking up some stuff, and it was crazy. I found out that 1 in 4 employees genuinely trust their boss. 1 in 4. So is that not crazy to think that, there's companies that have thousands and thousands and thousands of employees, and only 1 in every 4 employee trusts their boss or their manager or their employer 100%. And in leadership, I truly believe that being transparent with your team is one of the greatest things you can do, because being honest and open about what's going on in your company or in your organization or in the situation you're walking through can be one of the greatest things you can do, because honesty is one of the, to be honest, is one of the greatest things you can do. And point number 1 is simply transparency is a suspicion eliminator. Is a suspicion eliminator. And you're saying, well, what is suspicion? Suspicion is an organizational cancer and killer. One of the greatest things that I found is when suspicion is simply rumors that get started. And it only takes a suspicion, not proof, to destroy trust. It doesn't have to be proven. It just has to be started. A rumor has to be started in order for people to start dividing and beat division. Appropriately telling the truth kills legitimate questions. Because how many of you know and I keep saying this, but it's the truth, one of the greatest things you can do is be open and honest about every situation you're walking through with your team. Now, I did say this when I gave the talk a couple months ago, but telling the truth means what you say is true, but does not mean everything true needs to be said. Think about that for a second. Telling the truth means everything you say is real and true and factual, but everything true does not always need to be said. Now, what I mean by that is I want you to go back and listen to the talk I gave you a few months ago, but it means that you just needed to have discernment in what you're telling your team. But being open with your team automatically extends trust to your team that says, I value you and I trust you. I value you. One of the greatest things I found here at G5 is that we value people over what their skills are. Because how many of you know that sometimes they think they're good at one thing, but when you're around them long enough, you see things they don't see, and you can help them realize what they're actually good at. Just by loving them and trusting them where they're at. I love this. Just because you have a title does not mean you have the authority or trust to tell people what to do. Because that's huge. Just because you have a title, I'm the manager, right? Or I'm the boss, that doesn't give you the authority or the power to tell people what to do. One of the greatest things in leadership is, here's what I found, is being a trustful leader over a telling people what to do leader. Over a bossy leader. I was little, and people would always say, oh, she's just a bossy little girl, or he's a bossy little boy. You remember when people would say that about kids? And they would just tell people what to do, and they would take over situations. And then there'd be that one kid that didn't talk that much, but you trusted him, and you would follow him over the person telling you what to do because his example showed the truth. His example showed the truth. Point number 2 is transparency is a trust builder. Transparency is a trust builder. Transparency requires ruthless honesty and strategic wisdom. Strategic wisdom. But I said this a few minutes ago, and it's so true, but telling the truth means that everything you say is true, but does not mean you have to share everything that's true. Understanding the difference between what's valuable for the moment and what's valuable for the bigger picture is everything. Having a vision and having a dream is huge. And knowing people can trust you in that vision and in that situation is everything. I remember I told the story, I think it was last month or the month before, about when True Kathy was having a meeting. And they were talking, and they were all arguing about, how they're going to get better and better, and they're all yelling at each other. And at the time, the competition was a restaurant called Boston Market. They're no longer around. And Boston Market wanted to be the first company in the year 2000 to be a multi-billion-dollar company. And True Kathy was like, okay, that's interesting. And they were all arguing about, we got to get bigger, we got to get bigger, we got to get bigger, we got to get bigger to beat Boston Market. And they said that Truett was in the back of the room just quiet. And finally he got up and slammed his fist on the table and said, if we can get better, the company will get bigger and the people will demand we grow to feel the demand of being bigger. So being better and telling the truth to your team, being honest with your team, growing with your team, is better than getting bigger. Some of the greatest companies did not get big overnight. Apple started in a garage. If you think about it. That was back in, I don't even know, I wasn't even born when Apple was founded, just saying. Back in, was it the 80s they founded, I think? And now, just think about it, it's 2022, and now they're probably the biggest cell phone company in the entire world. And they started out saying, Steve Jobs says, I want to have a computer in everybody's pocket. Clarification. Walt Disney started Disney because he wanted a safe place for his 2 daughters to play and enjoy and having fun. Isn't that amazing that if something he started for his family became something that a worldwide family could enjoy? So point number 3 is transparency leadership is a relationship unifier. Relationship unifier. And I believe this strongly. In leadership, one of the greatest things you can do, if not the greatest thing, is have relationships with people. You can have all the wisdom and all the knowledge in the world, but if you don't have relationships with people and understand where your people are at, you will not grow anywhere. It's so funny. We say this, but you can belong before you behave here at G5. Another saying we say, and we don't say too much, but I believe this strongly, is people come for the fun, but they stay for the love. Here at G5, we love people. People are our business. And I want to encourage y'all, no matter what you're in, if you think about it, you are in a people business. Even if you sit behind a computer for 12 hours a day, 10 hours a day, however long you're behind, you are in a people business because what you do will affect people somehow. I love what Abraham Lincoln said. He said, if you want to test a man's character, just give him power. If you want to test a man's character, just give him power. Give him control. Because what's in you will eventually get squeezed out of you. So that's why I want to encourage you to fill yourself with truth. Because as soon as you fill yourself with truth, when you go to be honest with your team, when you go to love your team, when you go to help them where they're at, your truth will extend to them and help them, and they will honor you more than you if you were telling them what to do instead of you loving them where they're at. So people want to know that you are real. They want to know you're real. They don't want to know the fake you. Now, I'm not saying we're fake, but how many of you know sometimes we create this image around our life that we think is going to be this better image for people to see us as, right? Sometimes people just want to know that you go through the same junk they do day in and day out. And that's why I love my dad. It's because who he is on the stage is the same person he is off the stage. He's the same person. And people always say, what's he like at home? I said, who you see is who he is. And who you get is what I get. There's no waiver, there's no difference, and he's just as truthful and and here's what I want this, he's just as brutally honest with me about stuff I deal with than he is with all you. And here's what I found out. I'm a lot more like him than I realize. And and how many know that's a good thing? And sometimes that's a bad thing. The good thing is at least I know he's been through what I'm going through, so I can go, hey, I know you've dealt with this already. Can you help me walk through this? I want to encourage you to find people that have struggled with the same things you have and ask questions. Because how many of you know if you ask questions to people that have been through things, it's easier to learn from them than dealing with the situation yourself. So in closing, I love this talk. It's a lot of information, right? But I want to ask you two questions, and I want you to think about this for the next couple of weeks. I want you to process these two questions. For on a scale from 1 to 10, how transparent are you with your team? How transparent are you with your team? Or your friends? Or your family? And I'm going to put this in a different perspective. I want you to unanimously ask your team somehow what they would rank how honest you are with them. And I want you to compare what you think to what they think. And I'm going to be brutally honest with you guys. If your score is under 9, then there's some growing that needs to happen. I want to be at least a 9 or a 10 on full honesty with my friends and my family and my teammates. Because if I can't be that brutally honest with them, that means I have a trust issue with me or I have a trust issue with them. That means I have to grow. And you're saying, well, no, if you can't trust them, they got to grow. So no. I have to work on me in order for me to help them work on them. The first person I should work on is not my friends or my family. It should be me. I should need to look inward. Number 2, the second question I want you all to focus on is what questions do you think your team is asking that you're not answering? And I'll put that in a different perspective. What is something your team is struggling with that you're not seeing that they need help with? What are they walking through that you may be blind to that you can say, hey, is my team, my biggest thing I want to encourage you is to get somebody in your life you can go ask the questions, hey, do you see something my team is dealing with that I'm so blind to I can't see it? And one of the major things I've learned about being honesty is asking clarifying questions. Clarifying questions. And I want to end with this quote. And it was a quote by Mother Teresa. And I love this quote, and it simply says that everybody comes into our life as a blessing, and everybody comes into our life as a lesson. The greatest thing I've learned in leadership is that no matter what situation I'm in, no matter where I am, what I'm going through, I can always learn something from somebody, something, or someone, or some who. So I want to encourage y'all, if you have any questions, you can come up afterwards. But I want to encourage y'all to really process on those two questions. I'm going to just give you the 3 points one more time real quick in clarification. Number 1 is transparency is a suspicion eliminator. Number 2 is transparency is a trust builder. Extend trust. Extend love. Number 3 is it's a relationship unifier. And one of the greatest things that I found in unification is going and taking your team to do a team building thing. It could be even going to do, I love Topgolf, just saying, I love golf. It could be going playing golf. It could be go doing bowling. It could be go shooting guns. I'm just saying guy stuff here because I'm a guy. But it can be, ladies, you can go to the mall and shop. You can go to those axe throwing places. You know those. I want to go throw some axes. You know what I'm talking about, guys? Should we go do it sometime? You think? It could be going looking at cars. But do something to get your team unified on the same page and show them that you care enough to get out of your world to get into something they like to do. So just learn to be honest with your team. And I love you all. So I'm going to come to a close, and we're going to cut this. Boom. There we go. Thank you all. Sorry. Without further ado, I think, are we good, Seth? Okay, cool. We are going to bring up the man, the myth, the legend himself, my amazing father. Do we have his water, Heath? He's got it? Okay, cool. Do you need anything, Dad? You good? Okay. Can you all help welcome my amazing father, Tim Goad, everybody?
It is on. Hello. There you go. Seth's holding back on me, man. He wants me to get nervous before I talk. No, I'm just kidding, buddy. I love it so much. Hey, I'm excited to chat with you today. I want to talk to you about passion. Passion. Have you ever been described as a person that is passionate? People around you, can they feel your passion? There are people that sing, and there are people that sing. There are people that speak, and then there are people that speak. There are people that cook, and then there are people that cook. You know what I'm talking about? You can just taste the passion in it. If you've ever had any medical work done, there are some people that are just so passionate, and some people seem so nonchalant. They make you feel like you're just a number. There are people passionate about what they do. They really believe in their soul that what they're doing is making a massive difference in this world. And then there are people that they just go to work, but they really don't have any passion. When they ask people what they expect from their leaders, believe it or not, passion is always the very top. I want to know they care. I want to know they believe. I want to know they're involved. If you want to have an organization that is full of passion, I would say you've got to set the bar by being that person that is full of passion. If you ever have a relationship with someone, and whether it's just a good friend or whether it's somebody that you're dating or you're married to, I think one of the most painful days in a person's life is when the passion leaves a situation. And you would think the passion would always be lit. And so I want to talk to you for a second about the power of passion. And if we have enough time, I want to talk about how to regain it if you've lost it. Is that all right? So I just flew in from London. Doesn't that sound great? Maybe it doesn't sound great to you. It sounds great to me. But being on airplanes, my sinuses go crazy. And it's a 9-hour flight coming back. So if I have to stop every now and then and call for a second, leave me alone. I don't have anything, just a sinus situation, so you know. So if you want to have passion, here's what I want to encourage you to do today. This may take longer than I think. Determine your mission statement for your life. What is the mission statement for your life? Now, companies have mission statements and they hang them on the wall, but a lot of times they don't live what they write. A mission statement has to be brought to life. So in your life right now, you need to know what the mission of your life is. It can't be an empty thing that most people try to fill their life with. It has to be something that's meaningful, something that shapes you, something that causes something greater in you to come out. It causes you to grow. It causes you to stretch. So here's some questions I want you to ask yourself. What impact do you want to make on this world and those around you? What is going to be your legacy? By the way, you don't build a legacy after you leave the earth. You actually are building a legacy right now. What is your legacy? And by the way, when I ask you, what is the impact you want to make on the world or those around you? I just want you to know, for me, you don't have to do this. This is me. I want to impact people all over the globe, and thank the Lord I've had the chance to do that. Millions and millions. But my greatest work for me is my home. The impact I've been able to have on my wife and on my son and on my daughter. It's the greatest work of my life. And you may say, why is that? Because it's easy to gain the world and lose everything that matters to you. So in your life, in your mission statement, you've got to know what this is. So we all have values, we all have virtues, and we all have things that are very important to us. And so here's what I want you to do today. This is some homework. I want you to take note on what means most to you, and then start there. Start there. I'd built an organization, and we had vision, but it was a challenge because it was a little unclear. It was so massive and so crazy that I needed to bring clarity to it. Now, I'm going to be very equipping today as well as inspirational. I hope that's okay. For me, we were feeding people all over the globe, 180 nations. We were feeding at-risk kids. We were performing. My lab is 1 million people live a year. I was writing books. I was writing songs. I had all this stuff going on in my life. And this little nun about this tall came into my life. I've told this story before. Some of you have heard it. Some of you have not. But she asked me, she said, what do you do? And so we spent 3 days writing everything we do up on a wall in an office. And I mean, it was paper after paper after paper. I mean, have you ever looked at your life and say, how do I get this much done? Have you ever done that? And sometimes we see so much we've got to get done that we don't know how we're going to get it done. And what I found out is if you just do something small every day, it will turn into something big if you're chasing your passion. So we had it all up there, okay? I was at the highest levels on Delta and American at the same time. I flew more in the sky than I was probably on the ground. And she stood there and she looked at me and she goes, I don't know what you do. It's like, do you know what you do? I said, well, ma'am, you got to be kidding me. I mean, I write books, I write music, we record, we feed children. It went on and on and on and on, right? Now, she said, I don't know what you do. I said, ma'am, I don't know how you cannot tell what I do. She says, well, I see all this stuff that you do, but I don't really know what you do. How focused are the people on your team right now about what you do? Are you trying to teach more how or more why? Are you trying to get across to people technique, or are you trying to get across to them their why and their mission? So I went through this for about 5 days, and finally I woke up one morning in the middle of the morning. It was about 2 or 3, and I went, I know what I do. Clarity brings emotion. Boy, write that down. Clarity brings emotion. If you're trying to find emotional energy, clarity will change everything. There's nothing worse than fog and confusion. Because you're always trying to be something you don't really know if you want to be it. And you don't even really know if that's what you are even capable of being. So I remember walking in that morning, I looked at her and I smiled and I said, I want you to know I know what I do. And it turned into our mission statement. A mission statement is what you're going to do. A vision statement is what you're going to do. A mission is how you're going to accomplish it. And values are how you're going to treat each other. So just take that. You may think you don't need that right now. I even not only do this for companies, I did it in my own family, my personal family. And believe it or not, we didn't have rules in our home. We only had 4 values. And those values still drive us today. Honor God, honor your father and mother, honor each other, and lead with your words, tones, and attitudes. That was the 4 values of our home. And Blake and Bree and Gay and I got together and did that. So I'm in the hallway, and the little lady looks at me and she goes, "What do you do?" I go, "I give hope. I give hope." All this up on the wall. And I finally figured out what I do. I got in my car today, and I drove over here to give somebody hope. They tell me you can only live seconds without it. Hope. Whether I'm feeding a meal, writing a song, performing a song, speaking, coaching, I'm giving hope. What is your mission statement? So I give hope as my vision statement. You got to find yours. If you look at the sign out there right now, it says, "Hope happens here. We give hope." Whenever people get together, I've got one major concern. Did I give them hope? What is yours? You've got to figure it out. Don't try to take mine. That's me, okay? But you've got to find yours, and you got to step into it. How do we deliver hope? So this is me, right? We give hope by sharing God's love and encouraging other people they have a purpose and that they can make a difference. Bam, bam, bam. Clear. So what is the clarity? I encourage you to spend some time. The second thing I want you to do, if you want passion to go high, number one, get a mission statement. Number two is make a list of the things you love to do. There's no better place to start in your life right now. And I want to just tell you this, okay? Because most people think that their work is going to be the deliverer of meaning in their lives. And work can be very meaningful, but normally it's something that you do in your life that you don't make money. But it brings such a sense of, oh, I made a difference. It's why I'm so big around here to get people, especially the higher producer you are in life, to get you to carve out some time to serve. Because it's in serving, okay, that you find out your deepest gifts, needs, and desires. It just brings it out. And so I encourage people. So if you already have something that makes your heart sing, this is why, and I want you to hear me really clearly, please. This is why pleasure will never produce happiness long term. If you're looking for happiness in your life, you've got to find the thing that makes your heart sing. It isn't about choosing one passion. It's about filling and building a life full of love. Live simple and love deeply. Do you love what you do, or is what you do just a means of an exchange to get you from where you are to where you want to go? Do you really love what you do? And I could set up and do another whole lesson on how to fall in love with what you do, how to find the love in what you do. But here's what I want to encourage you. Get a piece of paper out at some point and write down everything that makes you smile. What makes me smile? What lights me up? So can I just go a little deeper? Because if you talk to people a lot, normally there will be one subject that no matter who you're talking to about whatever you talk about, it's going to come out. It's called your life's message. So you got to listen to yourself. And it will come out. Sunday morning, my friend Jared walked up to me and he goes, "I love you. You just love your family." Right? Because my wife just wrote a new children's book on good things happen to me. No matter what I'm speaking, no matter where I'm speaking, doesn't matter if I'm speaking business or church, at some point almost in every message, you're going to hear something about family come out of my mouth. Because it's such a passion to me. The family of God, my personal family, and the family of a team that we're going to do life together and change the world. It's powerful. So what I'm not talking about here is things I love to do is don't say playing, right? I just love to play. Because while playing is really good and you need to take breaks, and you can grow during times where and we'll talk about this in a minute, but I just will tell you that it starts with something that connects to your emotion. And I'm going to encourage you right now. I'm going to encourage you to go deep because most people are afraid of their emotions. And they've been taught not to let their emotions show. I believe the greatest salespeople in the world, I believe they transfer feeling. I just want you to feel about this the way I feel about it. I want you to feel the joy of taking care of your home and your family. Right? Very passionate. The third thing is take inventory of your achievements. Where have you won? Where have you already had some accomplishments? Can I tell you, your successes and your accomplishments tell you so much about yourself. Where you have moved forwards, where you've had victories, tell you so much about your skills, your talents, your values, your integrity, and where your heart lives. You got to look inside and say, okay, what have I excelled at both professionally and personally? And here's the question. Are you ready? What am I really proud of? What am I proud of? By the way, in your teams right now, I'd be asking, in 90 days from now, what will I be most proud of? What changes do I need to make so I can be proud at the end of 90 days? Fourth, acknowledge your gifts and talents. I am blown away how many people have these gifts and talents and you don't know anything about it. And you got to bring it out. I was doing some marriage coaching today with a gentleman, and I told him, I said, bro, when I married my wife, nobody knew. They knew she could sing. Nobody knew she could write. Nobody knew she could speak. And nobody knew she was a leader. It was when I met her, I brought it out of her. So let me ask you a question right now. See, we want to focus people on what they do. What I want to do as a great leader is focus people on who they are and how they can get better. Because when you focus and find out who you are and how you can get better, your performance will go through the roof. So many people don't feel worthy, and they don't even know how gifted and how talented they are. It's why the graveyards are full of gifted people that never get it to bring out. One of the things that you as a leader, I'm going to challenge you to do, okay? This is a big challenge. I want you to write it down in capital letters. I want you to start looking people in the eye and seeing the greatness that's inside of them. Start working on that. Every one of the people around you right now are not in their fullest potential. They're not. And I'm not either. And so I have to have people believe in me, care for me, encourage me, uplift me, believe in me, help me. It makes all the difference in the world. See, some of you are a fantastic listener, and you don't think that's special. You don't think that's special. Because I don't think they give out awards for fantastic listeners. I think they give awards out for fantastic speakers. But listening is the most powerful thing you can ever do in somebody's life. So acknowledge your own gifts and talents and understand them. Number 5, start exploring new opportunities. Sometimes we get so stuck in the same old patterns. You're going to be amazed at the things that might now threaten you, how much when you get in them will expand you, right? I mean, if you could right now, I would love you to write down 3 or 4 experiences in your life where honestly you were threatened by it, by a person or a place, and now you're in that place and you're like, Lord, have mercy. See, you're a G5 today, and I think people come here, and I think at first they're like a little sheepish. Maybe they're going to feel judged or measured, or I'm not good enough, only to find out that the environment is exactly what they've longed for. It's really, really important. A lot of us are stuck and old ruts. And the difference between a rut and the grave is the dirt over your face. You gotta break out. You gotta do something different. Take a different way home. Go to a different grocery store. Go to a different coffee shop. Start doing new things that spark your creativity. When you think new thoughts, you produce new revenue. You'll move up. If you stay in this environment for a year, I promise you, every one of you are going to make more money. It just is going to happen. Because the world right now is looking for leadership, and it's looking for people that know how to think. So, listen to stuff you agree with. I listen to some stuff I don't agree with. I listen to people I don't agree with. And it sparks creativity in me. Here's what you're going to find out. Most people will not leave their comfort zone. And they're stuck. And as I told a man on the phone today, I said, you're going to get mad at me, and I'm okay. But if you want your life to get better, you've got to realize what you know is keeping you from knowing what you need to know. This is so huge. Number 6, do more of what you love. I would encourage you to start filling your day with things you love. Now, we all have to do things we don't like. And how many of you have been to enough trainings where they say, hey, put the stuff you don't like at the head of the list, get that done, and the rest of the day you enjoy, right? Right. So we've all been trained on that. So I would encourage you, though, to stay full of the things you do love so that you have more tolerance for the things that you don't. So I would encourage you from the time you wake up until the time your head hits the pillow, fill your life with things you love. Moments. Most people don't do that. Instead of focusing on things that you're tolerating, which drains passion, start focusing on the things you do love, and it will build passion. Are you with me? Number 7, begin journaling. Now, I'll never forget the first time I ever heard this. My wife loves to write. I cannot stand it. What makes that a little hilarious is that every week I have 2 to 3 term papers that are due called a message. And so when they started talking about journaling, I thought I had to write in books. And what I realized was I could write a sentence. I had the greatest day in the world. I love talking to my wife. Journaled. You will start understanding when you write down your thoughts how powerful your feelings and your dreams and your life is. One of the greatest ways to face your fears is to journal, because when you write it down, those fears lose power in your life. They uncover what you love about your life. They uncover what you really want. So I'm going to encourage you, just take a minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes max, and just start writing down, journaling, grateful. As simple as, I'm praying about this. I'm hoping for this. I want our business to do this. I want my family to experience this. Number 8, and you're going to go, really, Tim, are you really going to tell us this? Yes, I am. Network and be around like-minded people. Start engaging with people with similar interests. Meeting new people not only add more fun to your life, but you will start to go deeper into your interest and starting to understand how powerful friendship really is. As iron sharpens iron, people sharpen people. I learn from people older than me, and I learn a lot from people that are younger than me. I learn from people who are doing it well, and I learn a lot from people that are not doing it well. I learn a lot when I talk to people that think they're doing it well, but they're not doing it well. Every interaction you have in a day, value it. But we tend to listen to people we agree with, and we miss some nuggets in our lives. Isn't it amazing that Starbucks was drowning in China until one little girl came along and said, if we will honor these young people's moms and dads, they'll support you and it will grow. So you know what they did? On their annual meeting, they invited all the parents and they paid for them. And the parents came in and saw the company where they were working for, and they encouraged their children to go to work and stay loyal. Is that powerful? Get around people that want to know your interest. You know, I have a lot of friends in my life, and the real truth of it is, I don't know them well enough. I've had a couple conversations with McGill, picking on you for a minute. I'm just totally blown away at your age you're doing what you're doing. But I want to know more. You know, I'm watching Mike grow. And so I have to earn the right to ask you questions. And some people are mysterious. They want you to know just a little, but they don't want you to know a lot. But the truth of it is I can never know where you're going if I don't understand where you came from. Big. So when you move somebody, you must understand their past. For men, we have a thing called men's locker room here. It'll get you out of your comfort zone. I want you to come. We have a thing called girl talk. I'd encourage you to come and bring friends. If you're a young person, we have something called Yaw Nights. They're doing something tomorrow night called Friendsgiving. And they're all going to eat and come together and watch what happens. Do you know why it's big? Because of the breakdown in the home. Teenagers and young adults are looking for family. Okay, number 9. Embrace a mindfulness practice. You got to quiet your mind and turn out the noise and get rid of the worry and get rid of the to-do list. I know you're going places, and you need to honestly take care of your mind. Read, listen, get around people that make you think. I would tell you we live too much in our minds instead of putting more in our minds. We live too much in what we know instead of putting something in our mind that we need to know. So, I just want to encourage you, take care of your mind. Your life is a thought. And I would encourage you to get somebody around you that can challenge you in your thinking. I want somebody to get around you. Because see, some of us are trying to find the settle for spot, and somebody else is seeing where we can go. Thanks, now, baby. That's fine. I'm perfect. Thank you. Sorry. Crazy. Number 10, have fun. If you're going to stay passionate, have fun. There's nothing that destroys passion like discouragement. It brings on depression. And in life, you're going to go through some stuff. You're going to deal with things. You're going to deal with people hurting you. It's why, if you haven't heard it yet, I did a leadership lesson on how to overcome offense. Not everybody's going to be happy for you. There's nothing more important in life than enjoying life, even the struggles. Even the moments where you feel like your guts are just running out. I think you're going to look back on your life and go, those toughest moments were the moments of greatest breakthrough for me in my life. I believe it. So, I'd say it's time to have fun. Explore new things. Meet new people. Spend time with yourself, enjoying you. Do you know how valuable you are? Do you know what you are, a gift? And I would encourage you to understand what makes you have fun, and don't do things that destroy you. Do things that build you. It's so critical in your life. Find out your true passions, your purpose. Fun is the key to everything. You got to get out of your head and get into your heart. You've got to get out of your head and get into your heart. And most importantly, if you fill your life with passion of what you were meant to do, you will never, ever, ever again feel like I'm working. Passion. I get to do this. I don't have to do it. I love it. Zig Ziglar, when I was younger, used to tell me all the time, son, do something in your life that you have so much fun doing it that people would feel guilty knowing how much money you make doing it. Because it's not work. Caring for people, loving people, making people feel good, making people feel special, making people feel noticed. You got to get passionate about it. And I guarantee you your life will go to a whole nother level. Charge. Go get passion. Sorry about the coffee. Yeah. Okay, anybody have any questions? Passion? Fire? You want me to give you a little bit of how to get it back? Maybe I'll do most of that next month. I think all of us would agree that passion is a powerful emotion that inspires us to do wonderful things. Thanks, God, baby. Thank you. By the way, that's my wife, in case you don't know. I love being around passionate people because they see things and feel things differently. They go on a sales call and they just see it different. They see a customer, even a customer that's hard to deal with, and they see it as a great moment in their lives. Most people look for easy. Passionate people get very fired up about solving problems and making it a difference. So it's an amazing feeling to do something when you feel it and do it. It lights you up. And it just brings such joy in your heart. And I want this for you so much. So how do I get it back if I've lost it? And by the way, if you're a passionate person, there are days you wake up and you're on fire. And there are other days that you're going, oh my goodness, I'm not certain I even like doing this anymore. Don't worry about that. That's normal. Okay? It's really, really normal. So how do I get it back? Take a break. The worst thing you can do, and I know you think you got to keep charging, okay? Because it's almost like I can't surrender. But stepping away and taking a break, just for an hour, they're starting to find out how much good it does just to get away from your desk for 10 or 15 minutes and go outside and walk around. Now, it's easier for us to do it here in Florida than it is in the winter with some of these people. But it really does make a difference. Take a break. If you're not feeling passionate about it, you're burned out, take a moment. Maybe even take a day. I talk about family a lot. I can't preach family and not live family. So I'm blessed. I travel all the time, so I get all these points. And they call me all the time going, what are you going to do with all these points? I'm going like, I got a plan, don't worry about it. I got a vision. Well, our family just went to London. We had free upgrades. It was nuts. And so we laughed and we ate and we told jokes and we dreamed together. And as a dad, the greatest thing I get to do in my life is embarrass my children. And so it's just a gift. And by the way, they're as crazy as I am. Even the thing that you love to do most, this is going to be controversial, okay? Every now and then you've got to step away from it. Even you're passionate about it. Can I tell you, we stepped away. I missed 2 services. Blake and Bree only missed 1. But what happens is when you step away from your passion renews. And you start to realize, you know what? I really do love it. So if you just keep burning, and I know I got type A personalities in the room, so I know that's what you're going to want to do. And by the way, if you have somebody on your team so young they don't know to do this, I would encourage you to lovingly lead them to do it. Because if you keep chopping wood with the same dull axe, your work and efficiency and effectiveness is going down. So take a break and set it down, and then you can pick it back up. And when you pick it up later, learn to take regular breaks in your life. Matter of fact, I would encourage you in your schedule, every day long, as busy as you're going, put a break in there so you can go and you can eat and you can listen. And you know what I've found in my life? When I schedule these things in my schedule to keep me flexible, and those spots that I open up and step away are where my biggest miracles happen in my life. Because you know what it allows me to do? It allows me to take an opportunity that my schedule would have not allowed me to take, that took me to a new place. Okay, that is just so incredibly important. How long do you think it would take for a business owner to burn out? How long do you think, if you just stay in the fire all the time, it would take you to burn out? By the way, I want to talk to you, some of you type A people. Because I have so much energy, my family has so much energy, because we built that capacity, that if I'm not careful, I can burn people out so fast. So I have to be mindful. Even in our volunteers, every now and then I'll go to them and go, hey, how are you doing? How's life going? How's your work-life balance? Are you taking time for yourself? Because when you're passionate about something and you love it, you lose perspective of what's really important. Number 2, I'm only going to give you 2, okay, is, 420, is set different goals within your passion. You know what? You may be suffering the loss of passion because you're bored. You love it, you're just bored. You want something to challenge you. It's why we teach here that whatever you're doing, do it with open hands. Because it means at any point in time, I'm going to let you enjoy this experience and I'm going to go do something else. And you know what's going to happen to you? You're going to find more passion and you're going to see how you grow. And so a lot of people don't even understand their own gifts, their talents. They don't understand their capacities. They've never had anybody see it or ever encourage them in it. So as for you, you will find out that if you set different goals within your passion, variety may help spark your creativity. So look at what you're doing and go, okay, what can I do? So what kind of goals can you set that will help your passion? Is there anything I can do to expand my horizons? Is there opportunity for me to take on more responsibility? What can I do? So if a company's doing 80 to 100 million, I ask myself, if I gave up this, and I'm very passionate about it, if I started doing this, could I take us to 200 million? See, it's amazing because a lot of people put their best people in the background. And a lot of people put their worst people. I was just in a store in London and I walked up and a gentleman was standing there and he just kept his back to me. And I'm over looking at this jacket and I walked over to him and I said, are you security or do you work here? I didn't know. And he goes, I work here. I go, okay. I said, could I have you get me a price on this jacket? And he walked over and he was so arrogant and so stone-faced. Like he was somebody because he worked in this upscale store. I said, well, could you tell me the price of the coat? Now, this is so bad. I would never encourage you to do what I did. I'm a pastor, but I could tell he needed an adjustment. And so he told me the price. And I looked him square in the eye and I said, thank you. But I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy this coat from somebody that's got a personality of gratitude. Don't be arrogant just because you work in here. Now, was that Jesus? It sure felt like it when I did it. You know what I'm talking about? But here's what I'm saying. Paul told Timothy, you've got a lot of instructors. What you don't have is a father that can go, don't do that. If he's passionate about it, he should have gotten involved in my passion in the coat. It's finding a want, need, or desire in sales and then just helping them get it. It's moving from my side of the desk over to their side of the desk, and where I'm like, I'm on your side. Let's get this done. We're going to get the best deal we can get. Now it's me and you against the world, not me trying to fight you thinking you're going to take advantage of me, right? So that's PT in a weak moment. But actually, it was probably a great moment. I never said anything disrespectful. It was actually like a loving father correcting his son, going, Bo, this is not what this company needs to be represented. So I just want to ask you, are you willing to right now say, I'm willing to set different goals in what I'm doing? I'm going to give you this last one because I think it's that important, and we'll talk more next month. I encourage you to evaluate why you started. Look into yourself and say, why did I choose this? A work of passion isn't always about what you get out of it. Sometimes passion is fueled because we feel strongly about a little simple thing, and it brings passion. I love the passion of being able to equip and empower and coach people into a better future. I don't want to put somebody down. I don't want to make somebody feel wrong. I just want them to know the opportunity that they have in their freight and in front of them, and I don't want them to throw it away. So in your life, I think you've got to keep coming back. Why do you do it? So people would ask me all the time, well, why do you do all this mission stuff? Why do you feed these children? Why do you do what you do? And it was very simple. Simple. My father was homeless and lived on the streets from the time he was 12 to 19 years old. And when I fed these children, I went, I'm feeding my father. And the man that believed in my father when he walked across the street and fed him, it changed his life. Now maybe you can understand in my life why hope matters. It's why I also have such compassion and I have such empathy for people that are hurting. I have empathy for high performers, because you think just people that struggle to make $50,000 a year are the only people that feel insecure. But truthfully, the highest performers in all the world feel very insecure. Do you know why? You have an incredible week, and normally somebody then wants to set it higher. But you're not even certain how you had such a great week. And so now you're trying to repeat. And so then you find out in life, if I keep my passion, it's about me showing up and being in the game. But what people are, they're too inconsistent. So they end up being frustrated instead of fruitful. Consistency is the name of the game. And if you will just stay in there, sometimes sales and leadership and everything, it goes in cycles. And so we've got to understand people in order to be able to walk with them. All right, I love you. We'll talk more later. All right, boom.